Hey everyone, it's Caitlin and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you all 3 fall-inspired bento box lunch ideas that will be perfect for school or work. When I think of fall, I tend to think of greens, roasted veggies, lots of squash, and maybe even a sprinkle of cinnamon, so if you like any or all of those things, be sure to stay tuned. This video is also my monthly collaboration with my friends Jasmine and Chris of Sweet Simple Vegan, so they came up with 3 more delicious fall lunch ideas for you guys. So if you're looking for even more recipe inspiration, I will have their video linked in the description below, so be sure to check that out. But without further ado, let's just get straight into the recipes. Ooh, before we get into cooking, I forgot to mention, don't forget to vote in the poll in the top corner of your screen right here on what theme you guys want us to make for our next monthly collaboration. We're between a vegan cookie recipe and a one-pot meal. Now let's really get to cooking. First, we're going to make some sweet potato and kale boats. And for this recipe, you're going to need as many sweet potatoes as you want for the week. So I'm just showing you with 3, but the first thing you're going to do is poke some holes in your sweet potatoes with a knife. This just makes them easier to cook. And you're going to place them on a baking tray and then pop those in the oven at 400 degrees for between 60 and 75 minutes, depending how large they are. In the meantime, we're going to make some easy tahini dressing, which uses some lemon juice, maple syrup, salt, a little bit of garlic powder, plus some tahini, and we're going to add a splash of water to that just to thin it out, and then stir everything together with a fork, and it should have a nice, somewhat thick consistency. So then now for our kale boats, we're going to massage some chopped kale with our hands, and this helps to break the kale leaves down, make them more tender, less bitter, and easier to eat. We're also going to add a can of garbanzo beans to this mixture. Just make sure you drain and rinse your beans because this helps with gas and improves digestion. Then finally, we're just going to drizzle as much or as little of that easy tahini dressing that you'd like into the salad and stir everything together until all of the leaves are well coated with dressing. So when your sweet potatoes are done, they should look a little bit something like this. As you can see, their skin is kind of wrinkled. This means that they're nice and dense and sweet and soft. So you're just going to place 1 or 2, if you're using small potatoes, into your bento box and then slice it lengthwise to make a boat. Then you can just stuff it with that kale salad, and then to give it some crunch, we're going to top it with a few slivered almonds. And to keep this fall inspired, I decided to serve this bento box with a freshly chopped apple and some peanut butter to dip it in. And this recipe does still taste good cold if you do not have access to a microwave. Up next, we're going to be making a fall vegetable salad with some smoky tempeh. So to start out, we're going to add a roughly sliced onion into a bowl. And here I'm just breaking up the onion pieces with my fork so they're not in huge clumps because you just don't want a massive bite of onion in your salad. Then we're going to add in some cubed butternut squash and Brussels sprouts. Add a drizzle of apple cider vinegar to give a nice tang. And then for our seasonings, we're going to be using some smoked paprika, garlic powder, black pepper, and a little bit of salt. So you can add that to your bowl with the veggies, and then you're just going to stir everything together until the mixture is well incorporated. And then from there you can place this onto a lined or greased baking tray, and you're going to put this in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for a little bit. But in the meantime, we're going to prep our tempeh. And tempeh actually absorbs the flavors of marinades a lot more when you steam it first. So I added about 1/3 cup of water to a pan, and then I just spread the tempeh out so it was all touching the pan, and I'm going to cover this and let it steam for about 10 or so minutes, or until most of the water has evaporated from the pan. In the meantime, we're going to make our tempeh marinade by adding some soy sauce or tamari into a bowl with a dash of maple syrup, a little bit of liquid smoke, some black pepper, and some smoked paprika. You're just going to stir all of this together, and then once our tempeh has finished steaming, as you can see it's a little bit more puffy now, you're going to pour the marinade over it and then just cook this down over medium heat until all of the water has evaporated from the pan and the tempeh has become nice and brown. At this point, your veggies should be just about finished, and all that's left to do is to assemble our salad. So I just decided to put it right in my bento box. I added some mixed greens. Then you're going to top it with some mixed veggies, some of that smoky tempeh, and then I prefer to add my dressing right before I eat my salad, so I just put the easy tahini dressing from our sweet potato boats on the side. Top that with a few dried cranberries for an extra kick of flavor, and we are all set. So I served this tempeh salad with some red grapes and some of my sweet potato bread, which I recently posted on my blog. You guys should totally check it out. Finally, we're going to be making an apple and peanut butter sandwich, and this is kind of like a PB&J, but we're going to get a little bit more fancy. So to start out, you're just going to need 2 pieces of bread. I'm using a multigrain seed bread, and we're going to spread some peanut butter on both sides of the bread. I like to do this so the bread doesn't get soggy once you add jelly to it, but instead of adding jelly, we're actually going to be adding apple butter because this just is so much more fall to me. I'm actually going to be using the pumpkin apple butter from my ebook, but if you want to buy store-bought apple butter, you could use that as well, but mine's better. And then finally, we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on top to give an extra fall flavor, and just cut your sandwich however you like to cut it, and you're all set. If you wanted to, you could even add some dried fruit in the inside to give it more of a textural element, but I think it's delicious just the way it is. And I served this with some crackers, carrots, and some beet hummus, which is also on my website. And there you go, super simple, but still delicious. And that is it for this video. Let me know which recipe you like the most in the comments below and which one you want to try out first. Personally, I think that's a really hard decision, but I might have to go with the harvest salad for me, just because I really love tempeh. Also, don't forget to check out Jasmine and Chris's video like I mentioned before, and if you are new to my channel and like what you see here, be sure to click that little button down there to subscribe to my channel. I post 2 new videos every single week. Other than that, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, whatever time of day it is for you, and I will see you later. Bye!